Alrighty, we're back in action here. Just had another chit chat with a wonderful couple, Murray and Susan. We're going to be talking a little bit more about them when we get to Quorn. So right now we're leaving the that trestle behind, and we are entering another feature here. So this is a ballast pit. You can see there's a telegraph pole right here. So we are entering the ballast pit. I don't know if it's got a name to it. I call it the Petry one, or Petry, Don Marie. Some people call it Petry. So basically this is the ballast pit, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it once we get a little bit further forward. The weather is playing havoc on my bike here. I can feel a little slipping and clicking. And here comes the snow flurries again. Jeez. So you can basically see here, all in this area here, right, they've dug ballast. So again, this pit was, we're going to talk about it again. This pit was in use for about 4 years. And so they dug extensively on both sides. And you can see the sandy nature of the soil. You can see all the jack pines that are growing up. So again, here you can see, you can always tell with the moss that's growing up is always indicative that they've dug soil out. They've dug ballast out. Just does not want to give it up. Does not want to give up those snow showers. So frustrating. And again, you can see they the timetable lists. Come on. The timetable lists basically a spur on each side, but probably there were multiple spurs. Okay, we're gonna hold up here. All right, I'm gonna keep pedaling. I just want you to see how frustrating this is for me. All right, we're going through one of these little squalls, and we're gonna end up with a bunch of stuff on the lens of the camera, right? Every time it clouds over, it snows. This is by far one of the most frustrating hikes that I've ever done. Because this snow flurry activity was supposed to stop. So here you can see right here, this looks like a spur coming off here. I marked it here. You can actually see what looks like ties, and I could kind of see the indentations from the ties going off in that direction. Let me swing around here so you can see it here. So again, there was a spur on each side of the grade. This is a good one here. It doesn't look like it's going to blow over anytime soon. All right, I'm going to show you this little rock cut here without the snow. All right, let's make our way through this little tiny rock cut. Of course, the snow is coming down, so probably going to end up with some snow on the lens of the camera. Perfect timing. So again, not particularly high. And again, it's not a big rock cut. It's maybe 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall. Okay, we're continuing on here through the ballast pit here at, well, Petry. Again, quite a large pit. Again, you can see all the jack pines growing up in the sandy soil. Hoping that this snow blows over here. Constantly gonna have to keep wiping the lens of the camera. So here is the other spot that I was looking at. So you can see something comes off here and shoots off in this direction here. So this might be the other side. So let's talk a little bit about the ballast pit here while it snows. This is absolutely ridiculous. I know it happens at this time of the year, but just it's all a result of that rainstorm that we had. It just doesn't want to give up. Okay, so the ballast pit here was in use from 1955 to 1959. There was one spur located at milepost 90, and it was a 50-car spur connected at the west end. And then there was another one at milepost 90.1, and that was 17 cars connected at the west end. So again, both located on the west end. So on this side, one slightly larger than the other. So maybe what I'll do here is I will show you the maps, and they'll show you the timetable. Alrighty, let's resume here. Now that everything's wet. Sorry, I want to mark this. Alrighty. So, speaking of Petry or Petry, we are alongside the river. So this is the Petry River. It's not quite the biggest river in the area, but it does flow into the biggest river in the area. On old maps, it's also shown sometimes as the Bear River. And so here you can see it going this way. And we are going to be crossing the Petry River, or the Bear River, very shortly. And the last trestle we crossed, the Little Petry, flows into this. And then this, as I mentioned, flows into the biggest river in the area, which is the English River. Give that lens a wipe. Still little dots coming down here. It's very frustrating. Again, we had this, it started raining or probably around Monday night. Not even raining, it was just like kind of drizzle, and it rained, and then it drizzle, and it stopped, and then it just hung around. And this is still the vestiges of it. It was just this big system that just kept spinning around and moving very slowly. So here you can see we're moving through this very big cut. You can see it's all sandy, lots of probably glacial till here. See all the different boulders and different sized rocks in there. Picks up here now on the, I guess we're going kind of northy. So I guess picks up here on the west side. Telegraph poles, you're gonna see lots of telegraph poles again. And this is a section where there's actually lots of signage. Lots of signage on the poles. So it's just a little itty bit of rock work here. See, it's so frustrating. The sun will come out and it's sunny for a while, and then when the clouds blow in, it snows. Like, so frustrating. Here's another telegraph pole. Makes them seem giant being up on the top of the cut there. And this is a pretty big cut, because that's got to be over 20 feet. My feet are wet. The tips of my feet, my toes are wet, or damp anyway. Those wool socks kind of keep them warm. But so here we're back into the sun. spike is all full of like gravel, and everything just gets kicked up. There's still little bits coming down. All the leaves are down. So today is the 23rd of October. All the leaves are down. What you're seeing, the yellow that you're seeing, is the tamaracks. We were just pointing this out on Saturday when we were through. And so basically the tamarack is a species of larch. It's one of the very few coniferous trees that loses its needles, right? So they're very soft. You can see on the ground that kind of looks like a golden appearance on the ground, and that's the tamarack needles coming down. So they lose them, and then they will regrow them in the spring. And again, but they still keep, throughout the year, they keep that very, very soft appearance. The tamaracks like swampy areas, so it kind of gives you a little idea of the terrain and the geography. Oh, I gotta keep my gloves on. It is cold. I froze my right fingers this morning because I'm constantly taking pictures, right? And so when you're taking the pictures, right, my hand's exposed. And so another old road veering off over here. Again, you can see the sandy nature. See the jack pines growing up. You can see all the moss. Lots of little pockets of blowdown. So we got to be coming up to our next bridge crossing soon. How far? Try not to drive into the ditch here. It's a ways. I can't see that. Okay, let's zip you ahead a little bit here. Some telegraph poles, and then you're going to go through this. We're going to go through another cut here. Let's give the lens a wipe before we zip ahead. All right, we're finishing up through this cut here, and we're going to be passing our next trestle crossing here momentarily. So what we'll do is we will pull over here and hold up for a minute, and then resume in a second.